Man, I love video games. I imagine you probably do too, considering you're watching this video right now. And I'd like to think there's two archetypes of gamers out there. You've got multiplayer gamers and you've got your single player gamers. Single player gamers like a good story. They like engaging characters with engaging gameplay mechanics that will keep them coming back for a very long time, as well as having enough content to give substance to those mechanics that it will last you damn near a whole lifetime of enjoyment. Multiplayer gamers, on the other hand, love good competition, whether that be fighting games,
I'd be crying if I looked like that too.
shooting games,
Oh, that explains it.
Fortnite, the reboot card,
Sir, his car is 140 meters this way.
chess,
What? Are you fucking kidding me?
fucking Overcooked.
It's black!
Both of these categories have brought us genre-defying, critically acclaimed games that we're still talking about to this day, in multiple different genres of both categories, both having their ups and downs, obviously. And it got me thinking, why don't we try and merge the two genres into one to create what is essentially the greatest thing ever? Oh, that's right. Needing an internet connection. Now, before any of you comment, because you read the title and assumed that I was about to say some dumb shit, I am not talking about specifically multiplayer games. Stuff like Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, Call of Duty, multiplayer modes, Warzone, any of that stuff. I am not talking about exclusively online games. I am talking about games that might be mixed with online features, but are primarily single player. That is what I am talking about, and pretty much nothing else. A lot of games nowadays are being built on the basis of being multiplayer live service first and an actual game second, and you can obviously see that with a lot of games. But what about games that market themselves more as single player or have a lot more single player features and are still exclusive to basically just the multiplayer aspect? I already know for a fact I'm probably gonna get some comments at some point that are like, oh, why does it fucking matter? It's 2025. You're in the big 25 and you don't have internet? Wow, you must be fucking poor and broke as shit. Well, first of all, you little shit. Yes, shut up. Second of all, you are not mature enough to have this conversation or think about this conversation right now. Maybe I'm a little biased, because I actually grew up with not having an internet connection and having to play exclusively offline or single-player games, and whenever I did get a multiplayer game, I just didn't get to use half of the online features, even if they were still geared towards single-player, or it was shown to me that they could do the multiplayer aspects in single-player. Maybe I'm biased. I just think it's shown a great change that isn't taking into consideration what might be some people's situations, as well as just the future as gaming as a whole. In fact, to prove my point, I've selected 3 games that are either mostly single player or have single player features that are, for some reason, locked off when you don't have an internet connection. Each one worse than the last. If somehow by the end of the video, I haven't proven to you why this is a problem, I don't really know what to tell you. Gaming's fucked, I guess. I don't know. So, without further ado, let's get into why I hate online single-player games.
Dude, check the news. It doesn't matter what channel.
I'll throw a sleeping gas grenade at the guard so it'll detonate and he'll be put to sleep, killing no one in the process. That wasn't the gas grenade.
The Hitman trilogy, a soft reboot of the Hitman series which brought us back to basics. You have a target, go kill them. You can do it in any way you want, and you're not really penalized as long as you don't kill random people. Absolution. Why would knocking somebody out deduct points from you? That makes no sense. So when the first Hitman soft reboot came out, the only real online thing was just the leaderboards. Leaderboards is fine. If you want to lock that to online, that's the only real thing that makes sense. I get that. I understand that. When Hitman 2 came out, they added a sort of ghost mode. Basically, you went up against a friend or a person to assassinate someone as fast as you can without getting detected, and it's a point system. It also introduced a sniper assassin mode, which had a co-op mode alongside it. That, I understand. I understand why that would need, online features for multiplayer, because, you're playing it with somebody else. You also, keep this in mind, you also could play this mode by yourself. You didn't just need a co-op partner. Only the ghost mode required another person. Hitman 3 did take away the ghost mode and the co-op sniper assassin. You still can't play it by yourself though, but you can also kind of play it in Hitman 2. That's besides the point. They swapped it out for community-made escalations. They're called contracts. Basically, you just make your own assassinations that you can then send out and have other people attempt to beat and get a high score on. And later down the line, they added a brand new mode called Freelancer, which is essentially roguelike Hitman. You get a set amount of people you gotta go kill, and then it increasingly gets harder, and you gotta plan out your strategy. That's really cool. I have some problems with these modes, that being, you need to have internet connection to do half of this. Leaderboards, contracts, ghost mode, all the co-op stuff, I completely understand. I get that. Did you know that escalations require an internet connection? You know, the single player IO interactive made mode, specifically made by them, you cannot play without an internet connection? Yeah, that's like half of some of the maps. I don't know why those are there, especially considering you can buy DLC story campaigns like, I don't know, say Patient Zero, and you can play those without internet connection for some reason, but escalation? No, I couldn't tell you why. I have no idea. It's just not there. A quick little reminder, PSA, this is a single player only game! They took out all of the actual multiplayer aspects of this game. You can't play with anybody. Why the fuck are we locking shit to a fucking internet connection? The reason I take such a big issue with this is because of how they do the level progression. So how each map works is that you start off at level 1. There are 20 levels most of the time, and each level gives you some sort of new unlock, whether it be a starting location, a weapon, a costume, whatever that may be. You can then transfer most of this to later or previous maps. Meaning if there's a particular item that you're looking for, or an item you want to bring onto the map, or you just like how the map feels with a certain gun or something, you can take all the stuff you unlocked and throw it into this map. It incentivizes a lot more replayability and exploration of the maps. That sounds good, right? That sounds like a really good feedback and, gameplay loop that will keep you engaged. Here's the problem. If you don't have an internet connection, you don't get to unlock jack shit. You are not allowed to level up in the map. So after I did a test run on this specific map, Miami, I ended up being about level 5. So then I decided, okay, let me replay the entire thing, but do it in offline. What were the results?
Go fuck yourself. Until
nothing gets tracked. Dude, you get XP in this game for taking a piss. That's how easy XP is. Knocking people out, hiding bodies, swapping disguises gives you XP. This is like taking your car to a mechanic, getting your tire changed, your oil fixed, your fucking radiator changed out, and then at the end of it, when you go to pay them, they don't even take the money. They just take your fucking car.
Give me your money! Hey, give me that shit. Oh, no, I just robbed them back there. Smoke for me, nigga. Wait, that's my shit.
Let's say, hypothetically, you bought this brand new for somebody or yourself, but you were a little short on cash for the Wi-Fi bill this year or whatever, this month, whatever. And you were like, okay, well, it's a single-player game. I'm just going to go play it. Dude, you don't even get any of the fucking unlockables. You basically would have to work with what is given to you in the map. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's also, why am I even playing the game then if I don't get to unlock cool shit? It doesn't make sense. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, oh, well, I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, yeah, it sucks you don't get to unlock stuff, but at least you get to play the game still.
Oh, buddy, don't get me started. Oh, buddy, don't get me started.
Would you believe me if I told you that this was actually even worse? Originally, when the original Hitman 2016 came out, if you lost connection or didn't have Wi-Fi, you just didn't get to keep your shit.
Things were actually much worse for the first several months of the game's life, because not only could you not make any forward progress on unlocks, but any equipment or starting locations you had already unlocked were also unavailable when offline.
Could you imagine if they did that kind of same thing, but with like real items? Like imagine you got like a Walgreens or like a Meijer membership, and you go in and you buy some food or something, and then all of a sudden like your membership runs out and you're not paying for it anymore, so they come into your house and take your shit that you bought. Wouldn't that be fucking stupid? Oh, that's right, cause it is! The only argument that I have ever heard for why it is like this is something called DRM. Now, I don't know all the specifications of what DRM is, and I'm honestly too lazy to look it up, because all I know is that it fucks over a lot of people who play single player or play offline. The basis of what I understand is that it is supposedly stopping people from just stealing the game and not paying for it, which I understand why you would do that, and I get it, but at the cost of making it so that eventually when these servers go down, because they will, when this shit gets shut down, we just lose all this content, or if, you know, your Wi-Fi is out, you just can't fucking play half this game you paid for. There has to be some better alternative. I just don't get it. Bottom line, though, you're still getting most of your game that you pay for. You are still able to play this and not really lose out on the core experience. What if you did, though?
There it is. The BBC. The BBC.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. I don't like talking about Mortal Kombat because I always get frustrated talking about it. In fact, I didn't even record footage of what I was going to talk about here. I'm just going to throw up on the screen my 2 old videos and then talk about the problems they had at that point. So, Pat Smokey, take it away.
This is an online-only game, meaning you can only play this game with internet. You can still do some things like fight people, play the story mode, generic shit like that. But the Towers of Time, which makes sense because, you know, that's on a rotation. I understand that. The item shop is locked. Okay, that makes sense too. All the other shit that's locked is not fucking acceptable. They locked out customization, so if you change shit offline, it won't be saved online. All of your currency is disabled. You cannot get coins, you cannot get souls, you cannot get hearts, and I forgot about the soul crystals, which are even worse because you have to fucking buy those with money or unlock them through stupid ass requirements. All of it's locked offline. You can't get none of that shit. There are story rewards you get that you can only accept when you get internet, when you connect back to the servers. So if your power goes out, tough shit, buddy, you can't accept them. And the worst part is they locked the fucking crypt behind this shit. Are you fucking serious? You locked the only way to unlock a majority of the items right next to the Towers of Time with a fucking internet connection. Who the fuck decided we're gonna? I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
Somebody please explain to me why the single player, again, you can only play by yourself single player mode, Invasions, is required with an internet connection. I can hear you saying, oh, the seasons, Smokey, the seasons. You can't access the seasons without internet connection. Just don't have the seasons be offline. It is one of the few ways to get a majority of the skins in this game, and you can't even actually unlock anything if you don't have connection to the internet. Again, this is a single player mode. You do not play this with anybody else. They did this in MK11, and it upset me there.
Play some online matches in Kombat League, but the fucking servers are down again. Do you see that shit? I was playing as Shang Tsung 2 fucking seconds ago. They've taken him from me! That's it. We were gonna play online, but I can't play Invasion.
Why do I need access to the internet for a mode that does not ask me to play with anybody else? All it's at, oh, because it wants to save my stats? Speaking of saving my stats.
So the servers are currently down. I want to, okay, yeah, I want to continue even though the servers are down. Let's see what happens. Do I have access to all the content that I paid for? The answer is no. I cannot play as Shang Tsung at the very moment because he is tied to whatever fucking server NRS has up there. Literally. I can't play with this guy.
For those a little slow on the uptake or couldn't stand my actually rage-filled voice, first of all, apologies. And second off, what I was basically saying was that for MK11, you just could not unlock anything. Once you went offline, nothing was saved. You just didn't get currency. You couldn't unlock anything new. I think all of your old stuff is saved, but anything new is not saved. Imagine buying a game that has customization, which I'd like to mention is one of its big selling points considering it's on the back of the fucking case, and then you don't actually get to use that customization, even though the mode built around acquiring said customization had been offline for all previous games. Doesn't that sound like a completely idiotic move? And then, moving to MK1, now you just can't even use a lot of your shit. If the servers go down, you might not even get to use the DLC characters you paid money for. fuck not playing the game. You spent extra money not to use the extra shit you wanted. Doesn't that sound a bit weird? I think so. And how could I forget about Invasions? The single player mode where you get to unlock a bunch of customizations and do a bunch of cool puzzles and explore the realms, and it's all seasonal based. That's awesome. Now, I do understand. It's tied to this worldwide server shit with like seasons that swap every couple. You know what, you could just like make preordained ones that rotate. I mean, there are other games that have in-game systems that rotate. If you're getting beat out by fucking Animal Crossing in your timed system of seasons, you need to rethink what you're doing. And just to cover my basis, if anyone wants to argue or has arguments on why this had to be the way it was, Street Fighter 6 has a single player mode. It is called World Tour. You can play that offline. In fact, you can play it offline so much that you keep all your shit, even if you're offline. If you go offline, you just keep your shit. Your customizations, costumes, your styles that you've discovered and learned, your currencies, upgrades, all of that shit. And then you can bring it online if you happen to get internet or you reconnect back to the servers. So, for a lack of a better phrasing, do not tell me that they couldn't do it, because other games have done it, and they've done it much better. So, we've talked about games that let you play them but don't let you unlock anything, and we've talked about games that don't let you unlock anything in the first place. I mean, it couldn't possibly get worse than that, right? I should have never even fucking said anything. Yeah. Now hear me out. What if we took Plants vs. Zombies, the tactics strategy tile-based game, and we made it a third-person shooter? This was such a fun shooter back in the day, and considering it got a sequel, not a third one, unfortunately. I wish they would have made a third one. It clearly did well enough. It was really fun. It didn't have a lot of offline features, though. The only offline feature was a split-screen endless wave mode. So, basically, Plants vs. Zombies endless wave mode. And it was only split-screen. You couldn't do 4-player. But overall, the game was very fun. However, it was geared towards the online-only play. So, what did they do to remedy that? Well, in the sequel, they just said, why don't we give you an entire mode dedicated to solo play? The sequel added so much more content than the first game. You got 3 new plants, 3 new zombies, the ability to do wave-based modes as the zombies. You had a offline multiplayer mode, so you could play multiplayer matches with the bots. You had solo wave-based modes that you could then add an AI companion so you weren't just playing by yourself. You could deliver pizzas. You had an entire quest line dedicated to offline, and they even gave you a whole backyard mode with another endless wave-based flag mode where you just survived as long as you could. This sounds awesome. It gave so much more reason to keep coming back and playing. Now, you may be wondering why I've been sitting so long on the title screen and haven't actually shown you any gameplay of this. Well, without further ado, here's why.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Now, I know I've yelled and screamed in the past in a lot of my videos, so I'm going to try my best to keep my anger at a minimum so I'm not breaking everybody's eardrum. But just know, I'm not angry. I don't get it, man. I seriously just don't get it. EA, what the fuck? Look, I understand EA isn't all about, like, the people, and it's mostly just, like, bottom line. How can we accumulate the most cash money green possible? But does this not actively hurt your bottom line for people who want to play your fucking game? There are, like, 3 reasons why I could see this actively being an online-only game, none of which really make any fucking sense in the first place. You have these rainbow stars you accumulate through doing community online quests in the town hall. You could just make them acquirable in the main game through more difficult means, like, I don't know, doing random quests that you have on a billboard where you, oh wait, already collect regular stars the same way. You already have a system, just do it that way as well. You've got this Hux guy. He's like a little garden gnome, and he gives you, like, rare customizations and abilities that don't really affect anything, but they're just cool customizations. He's online only as well.
refer back to my Animal Crossing point, or hear me out, just make me do some silly requirements that let me get the cool unnecessary shit. I don't know, maybe we're just really against unlocking shit in our games and we gotta have a fucking stable internet connection to buy everything, but maybe that's just me though, maybe I'm crazy. If you don't have a subscription service, like you're not subscribed to like PlayStation Plus or wherever the fucking Game Pass, you can just fucking play all of this mode, all of these modes, all this shit without the subscription service. Not having the subscription service is basically being offline, because who the fuck are you gonna play this with without it? There is still a split screen mode, but it's not like you'd be able to play it offline, so you don't have the fucking connection to the servers. I just don't understand. The first game, I understand that, because that was purely multiplayer, purely online multiplayer. You actually devised specific single-player content for people who do not have a subscription service, or basically, people who don't have fucking friends. Why did you make it so inconvenient to acquire this? I don't understand. So basically, when these servers go down, and they will go down, this game will be unplayable for the rest of time, unless it's like some cruise shit, where they decide to have people from the community who love this game and this franchise enough to keep it afloat for as long as they can maintain it. That is so shitty. That's so anti-consumerism. I don't understand. You want to make money, but you make it so that you can't make money in a convenient way. Literally, just let me play the fucking game. I feel like it would be less resource intensive to just make an offline mode and just let me keep fucking playing it. I don't get it, because it would still incentivize you to fucking buy the game, because at least there's content. I just don't get it. I need to calm down. It's not that serious. Yes, it fucking is.
We had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego.
Okay, let me calm down. I got a little frustrated. Got a little angry. I hope after you watch this video, you can understand why I am so frustrated with online single-player games. Because clearly, it's just not good for the preservation of games. There's a lot of issues that come with it. As you can see, you just don't get to play your game. You don't get to unlock a lot of your stuff in your game. Sometimes you just don't get a fucking game. And it's really unfortunate that that is the situation we're in nowadays. I hope this spreads a little bit of awareness as to the biggest... Oh. You thought the video was over? No, we've still got one last thing to cover. The finale. You don't own anything. The 2011 PlayStation outage, or the 2011 PlayStation hack. Xbox Live going down for nearly 7 hours. Nintendo gaming going down for both 3DS, Switch, and Wii U. And most recently, PlayStation Network. Last February of 2024 going down for a whole day. I actually got to experience the PlayStation Network downage of February 2024. And I took video proof of how it affects not only digital games, but even your physical games that you bought with your own money.
Oh boy, I sure can't wait to go and play on my PlayStation and play on my online-based games. Oh god damn it, I can't play Helldivers 2 right now because the servers can't verify. I mean, that's okay. I'll just go play Like a Dragon Gaiden, the game that I legally bought with real money a while back. Oh god damn it, the game I legally bought I can't play! I don't know, what about Hitman? I bought that, that's just a free game. Okay, nope, can't play that. Okay. What about Saints Row 3? I actually own that, like for real. Oh, okay, I can't play that either. That's really cool. What about Subnautica? Really? Fucking Uno? Nope. Literally, this was an originally, this was a PS3, like 360 and Wii game. D-Blob. I can't play D-Blob. This is so stupid. This is why I hate this shit. Hold on, wait, I forgot. I have a physical game. I've got Infinite Wealth in my catalog. Let me see if I can play that through physical disc. I mean, as long as it's physical, I guess it works. I couldn't tell you why, but it does. It's the only one that hasn't crashed on me. Okay, so I know the Like a Dragon has a PS5 copy, but apparently my PS5 copy is just not popping up, and I can't even play it. For my final test, I'm trying out Lost Judgment, which I have a PS4 copy of, but I have most of everything done on the PS5 upgrade. So, Like a Dragon didn't even throw up its PS5 version, even though I know for a fact I have it. It threw up the PS4 version and the PS5 version. But it says I don't own it. It says I have to insert the disc. The PS5 version, this won't pop up unless you insert the PS4 version. This doesn't make sense. It makes even less sense considering I threw in Like a Dragon's but only got the PS4 copy. It let me play the game, but only if I did it through the main game icon. If I went to the store, it wouldn't let me do that. Not only does the system not work, but it's inconsistent with what it works with. So, as long as it's a PS4 game on disc, it'll work perfectly fine. But God forbid if you want to play your PS5 copy of a PS4 game that is the exact same.
Let me put this into perspective for you. When servers go down, games will just not be accessible. The physical media nowadays is basically just a key to unlocking the game. As you saw, I couldn't even play games that I physically owned on the PS5. I could play the PS4 version, but what if I had only played the PS5 version and I wanted to use my upgrade? That means I basically have to restart from scratch. You didn't even bother to save my stuff. All the digital games that I had bought, I simply couldn't even access. Stuff like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, you wouldn't be able to play that shit. Hitman, you wouldn't be able to use and unlock half of the shit you get. Mortal Kombat, you don't even get to use any of the systems it gives you, because it's just tied to a server. You might lose out on content that you already paid money for. This also slightly touches into the topics of remakes, remasters, and upgrades. Stuff like the recent announcement of the Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Silent Hill 2, the Dead Space stuff, anything that got a remake, a remaster, some sort of upgrade. Have you ever noticed that you can't really buy a lot of the older stuff because it got delisted? Because why would you ever want to buy the older version? It's inferior. That's lost content. That is lost media. What if you didn't want the upgrade? Not everybody wants to play the fucking upgraded version because guess what? The upgraded version's not always worth it. You're spending more money for essentially shit you're not gonna use. I'm looking at you, Sony, with all of your $10 upgrades for games that are barely even a decade, maybe not even 5 years old, and Nintendo with their stupid ass limited time deals for shit like Fire Emblem and the 3D All-Stars collection. There's like 5 different fucking ways to play Super Mario 64 on the Switch, but there's only one way to play Sunshine? Get fucked! When your game is primarily single player or has primarily single player focused mechanics compared to its original game, and then you lock half of that to an internet connection, you are actively hurting your game and its preservation. I want you to think of any game that lets you purchase customization or ties achievements to online servers or anything like that. When those servers go down, that is all lost content. You are not getting the full game anymore. When something like MK11 gets shut down, you don't even get to unlock shit. You are basically buying a half-baked fighting game. That is just not okay. That's incomprehensible. Could you imagine if they did that same kind of shit with like movies and TV shows where you bought it on whatever service or app, you did not rent it, bought it with money, and you own it, and then all of a sudden they just decide to revoke your access because they can and go fuck yourself? Oh wait, they already fucking did that. And if the counter argument is gonna be, well, why don't you have an internet connection? I feel like everybody in the modern day has an internet connection. I would say that's a fair point, but not everyone does. Maybe people do, but what if your internet connection is really shoddy? What if you have shit that lags all the time, disconnects all the time? What if you have something that is super unstable, or you don't get to access internet all of the time, 24/7? Well, then you run into that problem of you don't get to access that all of the time. You might have to primarily play offline and only get like, I don't know, a couple weekends to play online with people, or play online and use the mechanics that are supposed to be in your single player game. It is highly disencouraged. And one final time, to reiterate for the people in the back who are still too fucking dense, when the servers go down, you lose your games. If there's anything you've taken away from this video, it's preservation. Games are art. They always have been and they always will be. And the fact that they aren't taken into as much consideration as something like movies, TV shows, and literal art is a crime. I implore you, go ahead, try out some of your modern games on your modern systems, but turn off your internet connection. See how much content is lost from them, especially your single player ones, because you might be surprised on how little there is to actually do in them. It is astounding. If I missed anything, such as big examples like probably the Xbox One fiasco when that dropped requiring an always active online internet connection, cough cough, let me know down in the comments, because I would be glad to know just how much shittier this actually is, if anybody has bothered to actually pay attention to it like I have. And please remember, just because it's not affecting you, doesn't mean it's not a problem. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something, and take care of yourselves. You deserve it. Peace.